Hello everyone, I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I have an update for you in the Jim Sterling lawsuit that was filed in March of 2016 by one half of Digital Homicide Studios, also known as James Oliver Romine Jr. You may remember from my and others' videos on the topic that we have been waiting on Judge Tucci of the Federal District Court for the District of Arizona to rule on Jim Sterling's motion to dismiss since October of 2016. Well, on Friday the 13th, the judge issued a ruling partially granting Mr. Sterling's motion to dismiss, but giving Mr. Romine one last chance to amend his complaint with the proper parties and proper claims. Quote, "Several of defendants' arguments in the motion to dismiss may have merit," writes the judge. However, the court's present analysis begins and ends with defendant's first argument, that according to his own allegations in the complaint, it is insufficiently clear that plaintiff is the proper party to bring his claims. Arizona law provides a member of a limited liability company solely by reason of being a member is not a proper party to proceedings by or against the limited liability company. Arizona courts will sometimes disregard the corporate entity or pierce the corporate veil if a plaintiff pleads facts sufficient to show that the entity is the person's alter ego. To allege alter ego liability, a plaintiff must allege specific facts to support a finding of an alter ego relationship and may not really support the allegation with conclusory statements. The complaint does not contain allegations that the acts of video game development under scrutiny were acts of plaintiff as an individual rather than of plaintiff in the scope of his role as a member of Digital Homicide Studios. Indeed, the libelous statements plaintiff alleges defendant made were aimed at DHS video games and at DHS development process. As for damages, plaintiff principally seeks DHS damages, lost and depreciating product value, lost advertising, and loss of future profits, though he also includes a prayer for emotional and financial distress damages. If plaintiff attempts to maintain only individual claims and does not allege facts demonstrating an alter ego relationship with DHS, he may not seek individual damages arising from defendant's comments on the acts of DHS or any damages for DHS lost profits and the like. If DHS is indeed the proper party to some or all of plaintiff's present claims, the court notes that DHS, as an entity other than a sole proprietorship, cannot appear in this court pro se, and must appear and be heard only through licensed counsel. The judge goes on to grant James Romine's request to allow him to file an amended complaint. If Mr. Romine fails to file an amended complaint by February 10th of 2017, the case will be dismissed without further notice. From here, it appears Mr. Romine will have to make his allegations properly, probably by hiring an attorney or face dismissal of the entire case. While I don't know the exact arrangement between Mr. Romine and his partner in DHS, whom I believe to be his brother, most decisions of this size have to be made unanimously by the business partners or members, meaning Mr. Romine will likely need his brother's consent to hire an attorney and pursue the lawsuit any further. Or he could amend his complaint showing the connections necessary to allege alter ego liability, or that he should be allowed to disregard the corporate entity that is DHS. This is probably harder to do since the vast majority of business was done under the protection of the DHS corporate form. If you are unfamiliar with the legal consequences of corporations, let's take a moment and go over it. People form corporations not just because they want to do business formally as some part of their own company. The corporate legal entity is also a bit illegally recognized fiction. If a person or group of people properly creates a corporate entity and follows the law for that entity will legally shield those people from any personal liability for the actions of the company. There are many kinds of corporations in the U.S., and each state can have their own definition and legal and tax consequences, but they all share a common goal of limiting the liability or exposure to risk that an individual or group of people may face in performing the tasks of the corporation. As an example, if I want to write autopilot software for cars, I will want to take steps and make sure that I can't personally be sued if the software fails and there is an accident. During the startup of my company, I'll have to research which corporate form works best for me and pay the money to file the correct paperwork and obtain the correct insurance and hire the right accountant to maintain the records and procedure of the corporate entity. If I do all of that properly and my company gets sued, then it will be impossible for the injured party to reach my personal assets in the lawsuit. However, One of the requirements of maintaining the corporate form is that you must maintain insurance for your expected liability. In this way, the corporate form can protect both its shareholders and its customers. So, the longer version of what's going on in the Jim Sterling lawsuit is that the judge has decided that Mr. Romine has made allegations that really belong to Digital Homicide, and that if he wants to continue, he's going to have to bring DHS into the lawsuit or otherwise state really good, legally sound reasons why he can disregard the corporate form of DHS. If he doesn't get it done by February 10th, 2017, then the lawsuit is probably done for good, unless Jim Sterling wants to try and request that Mr. Romine pay some or all of his attorney's fees or costs. Then there will be another round of briefings and rulings. Your thoughts and questions? Did I miss anything? Is there anything you'd like to hear covered in more detail? Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer them as I can. I enjoy bringing you new videos on current topics in the law, and I hope to bring more and more videos to you in the future. Please consider supporting me on Patreon if you would like to see more of what I do. Right now, my Patreon $5 plus supporters get programmed into my little LED wall behind me. I hope to offer other perks as well, which will be announced in a later video. Thank you to all of my Patreon patrons for your support. And special thanks to commenters Poopknock and Geargades for posting to the channel about the lawsuit update. My next installment of the latest H3H3 lawsuit update will be out shortly. In it, we will discuss the parties' discovery requests, how some of it got a little screwed up, how it got corrected, and where it's going from there. Thank you for watching. I'm Leonard French, your favorite copyright attorney, and I'll see you in the comments below. Right now, my Patreon $5 plus supporters get programmed into my little LED wall behind me. Shortly, I hope to be able to offer other porks. Right now, my Patreon $5 plus supporters get programmed into my little LED wall behind me. Shortly, I hope to offer other porks. Twice.